If you were a rock and surf angler and you weren't targeting that non-edible species, well, where have you been? Because it's been an inedible fest. Now, don't get me wrong. The reason why I am reporting from indoors this week and not on the beach is because, well, clearly it is still raining. It's been raining most of the week. It's been flooding in certain areas, but that never stopped certain anglers going out, and they were certainly rewarded. But that's just purely on your rock and surf side. On your offshore side, anglers were definitely getting some fish, more so on the further out where they were getting that quota. And when that rain came through, they came a lot further in and they were fishing for bottoms, and they were still quite rewarded. If you were fishing in the Midlands, well, you definitely got fish. The fish has been on the bite, more so the bass species and yellowfish. Nothing much on the riverside, but we're going to get into all of it as we usually do with our fishing reports, and we're going to get into it in great detail. But before we do, guys, special thanks to our sponsor, the Kingfisher. They bring us our podcast, they bring us our YouTube channel, and they even sponsor our TikTok channel. So huge shout out to the Kingfisher. If you are looking for the tackle to go and get that non-edible action, guys, the Kingfisher has 6 stores that are available to you. Now, let's get into this week's fishing report. Starting off down the south coast, as Adam reported, the water is dirty, it is brown, it is rainy, but it is a groundhog season for that inedible action. There is sandies, there are skates. I mean, there's even an angel shark that came about. Now, I thought this was a rare catch. Turns out it's a little more common than what I've originally thought of. So there has been 1 or 2 small shared about 1 or 2 small cub, but guys, it's just been inedible action throughout. So Adam's sending through a bit of reports, but purely going on about that inedible action. And if you want to see what the water conditions are down the south coast for this week, well guys, check out Adam's video of what you can expect.
As you can see, Vinesh, things really aren't looking too great down here at the moment. We're just down here at Shade Bay, and as you can see, it's just, as far as I can see, it's just brown water, brown muddy water, and it's just, I don't know when it's going to clean up because our rivers just keep coming down. It's still raining, it's raining now at the moment, and it's just, yeah, it's not looking good, hey? But let's see, maybe the weather for this weekend might clear up. I don't think the water is going to, but hopefully we get a bit more sunny days. I think all of us are missing the beach and trying to catch a decent fish instead of a shark for a change. But otherwise, Venetia, let's just have a look at what's going to happen for this up and coming weekend.
So thank you, Adam. That's our water conditions down there. We've also got water conditions off Warner Beach. Now, Gary reports that the water has been a bit dirty. It is still, it's rather flat, but there hasn't been too many anglers out and about this past week. And those that did get some fish were smaller shad off the Winkle rocks. Apart from that, nothing else much to report on. But in saying that, guys, if we go out and we get some of that smaller shad, we can put him out for an inedible. We know that inedible species are going to be on the bite this weekend because the weather is looking to be rather promising. Now, moving on down to Durban, well, Mike V says, apart from some gray sharks, there hasn't been too much action. The offshore action, on the other hand, was rather fantastic, though. I mean, there's been a lot of kuta, there's been snook, there's been still the odd dorado. Even when that rain has come through, the guys have come in and got some good bottom fishing. The harbor hasn't been having the greatest of weeks this so far. All that debris in the water, not many anglers have been getting the spoils, but we do know after these storms, it's certainly going to be on fire, because what happens is it pushes all that food down the river and all that edibles come in and they start feeding on it, and that creates a great time to be an angler. So those better days are coming once that sediment does settle in the harbor as well as on our beaches. Moving up the north coast, well, Jesse says not too much action on the edible side. If you're a rock and surf angler, there has been some non-eds coming out. I did get 1 or 2 other reports from a guy named Jeremiah, a new contributor to our show, where he is talking about some pompano that has been on the bite. And apart from that pompano, a couple shad coming out by the Westbrook Tongaat area that's been on that first light session. Nothing else on the rock and surf side. Offshore has been rather promising. Guys have been getting a good amount of species coming out there. And if you want to check out the water conditions, here's a quick 10-second clip from Martin, what the water conditions like are on the lower north coast.
Good afternoon, all anglers. As you can see in the background, we are looking at a dam, not an ocean. That's what the conditions are for this week.
Moving further up the north coast, nothing else crazy, guys. Just that inedible action when the guys can go out. I mean, check out some of these catches from Dean Reddy. Guys, it is an inedible fest. We know it's an inedible time. It is that time of the year. It is summer. It is the rainy conditions. It's warm water. That is why KZN has these non-eds that are coming out. So unless you're going to be targeting those non-ed species, it's just a waiting game. In the next couple of days, the weather is going to be shaping up to be fantastic. It's going to get the fish on the bite, and we are in for an absolute treat. If you want to try your hand on the freshwater, which is what I strongly suggest, guys, the freshwater Midlands, Hazelmere, Albert Falls, Midmar has all been performing now. The thing is, the water temperature has dropped somewhat. So if you want to fish those areas, you want to fish it a bit more slower. If you are fishing it in the mornings, top water action for that bass. If you are chasing some action on the fly side, Staircase has definitely been performing. Lots of fish coming out, and it's only going to get better on that yellowtail action. The rivers have been producing more than the still water, so that's on your trout side. And moving back to the bass, Midmar, Albert Falls, Hazelmere, they've all been producing the goods, as well as that carp action bending some rods on that side. So guys, all in all, this week in KZN, it has been rainy, but there has been bite. The inedible action is all around, whether you're fishing north or south, or even just off Durban. The conditions are bound to get a lot better. The harbor is going to get a lot better. And the offshore fishing, as long as that weather conditions are there, it is firing at the moment. So KZN, looking good, gonna get a lot better. When you are out there, guys, always remember, keep that fishing area tidy, respect your bag limits, and fish for the future.